Hi, my name is Jeremy Kwiatkowski, and this is.
And I'm Brad Broom.
Thank you for joining us on this video presentation on collecting a sales fee up front and a minimum bench fee. Something we really think is important to you as an owner to establish as a best practice in your repair shop. Brad, one of the things I want to bring up today, and just hopefully you could elaborate with me, is charging an upfront fee. As part of the best practice in my repair stores, I thought it was vital that if a customer came in, they paid for the repair in its entirety right up front. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number one reason is we're not a collection agency. I really don't want to have to be calling customers all week long, wondering if they're going to come and pick up their device. And payroll comes around on Friday. You got thousands of dollars worth of phones sitting there, parts that you bought that you need to collect on so you can make some payroll. Heck, you got to pay for the lights, you got rent. So charging money up front, I think, is so vital. But what that does too is kind of leads to, what if it can't be fixed? So I charge them up front, or I give them a refund? What is there, a minimum bench fee? And I really wanted to talk to you about the minimum bench fee. I know that's something you established as part of your reign over at Big Box Store there as a director of operations. Can you explain to me how that's so vital?
Absolutely. We started out to where now across the board, we actually have a $55 minimum fee. Now that is a minimum fee. So what if your stores were well, let me jump back a little bit. Our stores were doing like $25, $35 on some other small end repairs. Once we change it up to a $55 fee, then you all of a sudden jump. You're jumping $30.
Well, just imagine your margins going up.
Yes.
Profitability, because
huge.
I see shops doing $15 labor fees, zero labor fee. And you're going to bring it back in the back, spend an hour on it, your tech's trying to diagnose it, trying to figure out what's going on, and they collect nothing. We have to pay lights.
Yes.
We got rent. You have payroll. Rather than being all over the board with it, if you actually take a look at your point of sale, run a report, and see how much you're charging today. If it's zero, you know it's going to be a huge increase. But what we've established as best practice over the years, you and I have owned shops together, is having the ability to look at that basic minimum bench fee as $55 as your starting point. Brad, what happens if I bring in a piece of lint in an iPhone? I can't plug it in. Do you do that for free? Just get a good review?
Absolutely not. So what I do is we're going to charge a $55 diagnostic fee, and if it's something like that, let's say the customer comes in and says, my phone is dead. I seem like to have to wiggle it to get it to charge, or it no longer takes charge. I then explain to them that, okay, then great, we're going to start this off with a $55 fee. And if a part is needed, then additional fees will come with that.
And that's just on a lint cleaning?
Yes, that's only on lint cleaning. That's only one example.
When you think about how many shops today will get into an iPhone charging port, you got a customer, okay, they could clean their own charging port out. They can go on YouTube and go, hey, I can't charge my iPhone. It tells you to clean out the charging port. And guess what? Are they going to stick tweezers in there and mess it up? Possibly. They might be afraid of that.
That's more work for you.
Remember, they don't probably even want to mess with it, or they've already tried and it didn't work. They're bringing it to you for help, for assistance. So why should you do that for free? I mean, they walked into your door that you're paying rent for. They swung open that door, they walked in there and they said, hey, help me.
A doctor's office is no different.
Right.
You go in there, and my head hurt. The doctor said, hey, you're running a fever. You need to go to the closest Walgreens and get a Tylenol. So it's
how much
the
do you
same
charge
thing.
you for that?
I paid $120 to feel soothed, and it worked. I was soothed. That I knew that there was nothing else wrong with my head. So with that being said, we're the same thing.
Because it's a doctor, right?
Yes. You're bringing me a dead device. It's completely dead. So in your mind, you're not a technician. You're going to automatically think your photos are all gone. Everything's lost. And you're coming to me and I'm going to say $55 fee.
Yeah.
And we could possibly get your phone fixed.
Well, here's the thing is, the doctor thing is such a great, comparison, because you are a doctor. As an owner of a repair business, you're a doctor for a cell phone, and granted, everybody's heard it. That's their lifeline, their customer's lifeline. I mean, it's just as vital as going to a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That phone repair, has to be done now, has to be done today. And that kind of service requires a payment. You can't do that for free. That doesn't make any sense at all. And nobody expects it either. That's the number one thing. If they expect you to do it for nothing, they're probably not the best customer for you to have anyway. What good is a customer that pays nothing?
Absolutely zero.
The net positive is zero. There's no point. You might as well tell them either you pay or you go.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we establish as a best practice is, if anything comes in the door, any receipt that I see that's with a phone sitting there on the shelf and needs to be repaired, the minimum fee I'm going to see on there is $55.
And paid.
Yeah, and
paid for,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's paid. And that brings me back to charging the entire thing up front. Let me give you an example. They come in for an iPhone 12 repair and charge you $150, $175, whatever it is. The key thing is I don't necessarily, the screen might be busted. I don't even know if the phone really even works yet, other than I think it's powered on. It's got some backlight to it. I'm going to charge you for the entire repair up front. How you fall back on that minimum bench fee is an important part of this process. All right, so if I collect that $150 up front and I take it in the back, I go to repair it and put a new screen on it and find out it has no signal or the Bluetooth doesn't work or some other kind of issue with that phone that's board level. And now I got to bring it back to the customer and they don't want to invest the money to repair it. Do I just put the LCD back on there and send it back out and make nothing? No. So sure, you feel comfortable giving the customer a couple options. Here, it makes you three, right?
Yes.
One is you can take the entire amount you paid me and put into a phone in the case. That's going to be your best scenario every time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's another video for us to make, right? So you always got to have the case full of phones at your disposal as a backup for that repair that doesn't quite work out. One, from your perspective. Two, from the customer's cost perspective. You don't want to do the repair because it's too involved, or two, the customer thinks the price is too high. You need to be able to flip that money that they paid you up front, because you're not a collection agency, and bring it right back to the case and see if they can roll that into a phone. Now, if they decide not to do that, maybe they have an upgrade available to them, right?
Absolutely.
Now that's why the minimum bench fee
Yes.
comes back.
They can then use that fee to go toward what it's going to cost to actually fix their device. So they already know that beforehand as well. The person is going to have to explain to them what that bench fee is versus the total repair cost.
Yeah, for an example, if the customer decides you give them a price to do the board level repair, and you hand it to you micro solder, it's going to be $300. They paid $150 for the LCD. Now they'll pay an additional $150 towards the repair of the board level micro soldering repair, whatever it might be. Great, that's scenario number two. Number three is, like I was saying, if they, what if they had an upgrade available, or they just want to walk back into the AT&T store and they tell you to put your their old LCD back on there. Now you've done two jobs. You fixed it, now you have to unfix it, right? You got to put the old display back on there. If you didn't collect that minimum fee at least, you're going to give them 100% refund back. That would be ridiculous. So instead of giving them 100% refund back, you're giving them a refund minus their $55 labor fee.
And it's vital too, so the customer does not feel like they got completely ripped off, and that you are supposed to work for free, because the customers actually feel that way, that your job is free. And so we explained to them in the store, even though we were not able to completely repair your device, the $55 can be used for any repair going forward in this store. So therefore, we don't want them to feel like they're actually upset or lost, or that you stole the money from them just to tell them the repair went bad.
That's such a great point. So when you think about it from the perspective of that customer couldn't use that store credit today, that minimum bench fee, which we apply as a store credit. I couldn't use it today. But later, say they have a bad Xbox HDMI
Yep.
or a PS5 drops and something breaks on it. They want to bring their computer in. Guess what? They can now apply that $55 store credit to a couple $100 repair that you're going to get further down the road that kept you tied to that customer. What kept you tied? The minimum labor fee.
Exactly, collecting it, because therefore the customer, what great news is there to hear that you're going to get $55 off of a certain fix. So that would be on your two in case the repair goes wrong.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong by charging upfront and charging a minimum labor fee ever. One, from the perspective, your time is money. Two, from the perspective, it ties you to the customer. Even the third point is the customer is real. They're not just dropping your phone off and saying, "Hey, see if you could fix it." You fix it. You spend your time and your technician's time fixing that device, and they never come back. And how many times did we spend hours calling people, "Please come in and pay for this," and nobody would show up? So look, eliminate the hassle and upfront fee right up front, the whole thing. Or at a minimum, collect your labor fee if it's just a minor repair. So think about what your minor repairs are. Think about what your lint removal is. Is it $10? Is it 15? If it's 20, it's ridiculously low. $55 is a best practice out there, really in the industry that I've seen, that is successfully charged over and over by high profiting stores.
Locations,
And that's it in a nutshell, really.
That's it. And again, please put it in your employees' minds. Collect upfront. It's important. It's much important than what they can really imagine.
Absolutely. Thank you. Best of luck. Go make some money.